I'm going to actually show you the, let me see, FX. If you don't remember the, I don't know which one to use. Let's try this one. There are two things. One is the range that we're counting, okay? And in this case, I'm going to be counting the woos. And the second condition is, for now, I'm just going to put greater than 1, okay? Because I want to be able to see those things. Greater than, yeah, it doesn't do that. Well, that means it's something we have to write a function for, but since I have it on my screen, I'm gonna do, it's greater than 0.08393. That's the decimal version of that percentile. That's the count, okay? There's only 2 of them. Oh, that's the high one. I actually want to do less than the other numbers. 0.-0.07687. Okay, 3 of them. They're saying it's not too much, but remember, we're talking about only 600 each. So if I compare that to the count of C3 to C699, that's about 0.5%. In a normal distribution, you should see nothing, okay? Here, it's 0.5%. In fact, let's calculate the expected occurrence of such a number in a normal distribution. So let's first get norm as inf 0.75. So IQR is going to be 2 times that. So the boundary to call something outlier is on the positive side, Q3 plus 3 times that. So we're talking about 4.72. That's the boundary. Well, let's find out the probability of that. Norm S inf, norm S test, I'm sorry. 4.72. Let's do 1 minus because we're in the upper tail. So expected percent of outliers in a normal distribution is 1% of 1% of 1%. Okay? But in this data, we're getting 0.43. In fact, that's for a stock market index, okay? For exchange rates, odd enough, we get almost nothing. For bonds, even for bonds, on the low end, we have a lot more outliers than expected. If I was looking at those numbers for an individual stock, and I'm going to use individual stock next week to kind of highlight these, that low odd percent is going to be much higher. That's, you guys ever heard of a guy named Talib Nassim? He coined the phrase black swans, okay? Most swans are white, but the trouble is a lot of people have never seen a swan that's not white. So they automatically assume that all swans are white. No, they do exist black swans. It's a genetic mutation, and it happens. But, when that black swan happens, you're completely unprepared because you created all your risk management model assuming all the swans are white. But suddenly something comes out of left field. And this is basically the percentage of black swans on the left side, if you think about it. Where most of the crashes happen because of those black swans, or because companies are not protecting against those black swans. And as we start dealing with options, we're going to see that we actually have ways to deal with it. Let's say I'm investing into S&P 500, and it's all about taking risk, but I don't want to lose my shirt within a month if something really bad happens. Is there something I can do? Yes, there is. For example, I'm using this for a different strategy now, but I sold put options because I believe that in the short-term markets will go up, but not by much. But I sold slightly out of money puts on some of the stocks. I collect the premium plus some interest on the collateral I put in. But that's my thing. Suppose I bought Palantir, and it is a promising company as far as I'm concerned. But if the crap hits the fan in the economy, this thing can go down all the way to $10, okay? If it goes to $10, I'm going to lose a lot. Suppose I want to protect myself. I believe it's completely unlikely, but I don't want to lose money if it goes below 12. Well, I'm going to go ahead and buy a put option. And maybe I'm going to do this relatively long term. About $10. Since this is a protection for about 2 years, it's pretty expensive, but if you want shorter term, maybe about 8 months. Yeah, $1.13. All right. So that's my insurance premium. So I can actually cover myself against these. And typically I wouldn't do those for individual stocks, because covering against complete catastrophe in the market by individual stocks doesn't make sense, because it is likely that if your stock goes down that much, the entire market is, but the options are cheaper for the entire market. And when you're dealing with Black-Scholes, you're going to understand why. All right? So if you know that black swans can be there, and you have a rough idea about the chances of seeing those black swans, you can actually tailor your risk management system based on that and buy protection for that. Because if something happens beyond that probability, I don't want to pay too much for it. But I still want to be protected against it. But in the golden rule in risk management is, in order to be able to deal with the risk, first and foremost, you have to recognize the nature of it. If you assume everything is normal, well, then, quite a bit of swans seems to be black, even for a very high coverage index like S&P 500. If we looked at individual stocks, that black swan percentage is even much higher. So-called left tails are much fatter. And we'll do some of that next week. Now let's stop here. 2 groups already sent me names. So if you have 4 people that you want to work with, send me the names, because I'm going to post the nature of that investment exercise we're going to do. We're going to start that on Monday. So by this weekend, I'm going to assign you to one group or another. It would be better if it's people that you want to work with. Otherwise, I'll pick it randomly. And there is no trading between groups. This is not baseball.